history, humans have developed diverse practices for handling the dead, reflecting their cultural, religious, and environmental contexts. Cremation, the process of reducing a body to ashes through intense heat, is one such practice that has been embraced differently across various cultures and epochs. This exploration delves into the historical origins and global adoption of cremation, shedding light on how it evolved from ancient times to its modern-day prevalence. Ancient origins of cremation. Early evidence in Europe and Asia. The practice of cremation dates back to prehistoric times. Archaeological evidence suggests that it was prevalent in Europe and Asia as early as the Stone Age. The Mungo Lady, a set of human remains discovered in Australia and dated to about 20,000 years ago, provides one of the earliest known instances of cremation. Similarly, evidence from the Neolithic and Bronze Ages in Europe indicates the widespread use of cremation, often as part of elaborate burial rituals. Ancient Greece and Rome, cremation was a significant aspect of ancient Greek and Roman funerary practices. The Greeks viewed cremation as a noble way to honor the dead, often associating it with heroism and valor. The Romans adopted and adapted Greek practices, with cremation becoming the standard method of body disposal for many centuries. Roman cremations were elaborate ceremonies involving pyres, offerings, and the collection of ashes, which were then placed in urns and stored in columbaria or family tombs. Indian subcontinent. In the Indian subcontinent, cremation has ancient roots deeply intertwined with Hindu religious beliefs. The Rig Veda, one of the oldest sacred texts of Hinduism, contains references to cremation. Hindus believe that cremation helps release the soul from the body, facilitating its journey to the afterlife and eventual reincarnation. This practice continues to be predominant in India, reflecting both religious traditions and practical considerations. Cremation in different cultures. East Asia. In East Asia, cremation practices have varied over time and among cultures. In China, during the early dynasties, burial was the dominant practice. However, with the influence of Buddhism, cremation became more accepted. Buddhist teachings, which spread from India to China, Korea, and Japan, advocate for cremation as a means of detachment from the physical body. Today, Japan has one of the highest cremation rates in the world, a practice rooted in both religious beliefs and limited land availability. In recent years, we have seen a significant shift in funeral practices, with cremation becoming increasingly popular over traditional burials. This trend, according to experts, is expected to grow, with projections indicating that up to 70% of people will prefer cremation over traditional burial in the next decade. This raises an important question: should Christians consider cremation? In this extensive exploration, we will delve into this topic by addressing 4 crucial questions. What exactly is cremation? What does the Bible say about cremation, if anything? How does cremation impact the resurrection and glorification of the body? And finally, what factors should Christians consider when deciding between cremation and traditional burial, understanding cremation? What exactly is cremation? Cremation is a process where the body is exposed to high temperatures in a cremation chamber, reducing it to its basic elements. Most of the body, including soft tissues, is vaporized, leaving behind only bones, which are then processed into a fine powder known as ashes. This method essentially returns the body to its original state, reminiscent of the biblical notion that we are made from dust, and to dust we shall return. Environmental and social considerations. The journey of the body through cremation has been studied extensively, highlighting not only the physical aspects, but also the environmental and social impacts. According to the North American Cremation Association, the cremation rate has been steadily increasing, driven by changes in social preferences, economic constraints, and ecological considerations. Research indicates that traditional burials occupy large tracts of land and involve the use of chemicals for embalming, wooden coffins and gravestones, all of which have significant environmental impacts. In contrast, cremation, though it consumes energy and releases carbon emissions, requires less space and resources, aligning with a growing desire for more sustainable practices. Cultural and religious shifts. Beyond environmental considerations, cremation reflects a shift in cultural and religious norms. Some traditions view cremation as a form of purification and liberation, while others seek guidance from sacred texts on the practice. This brings us to the next question. What does the Bible say about cremation? Biblical perspective on cremation. What does the Bible say about cremation? While traditional burial is mentioned over 200 times in the Old Testament as the method for body disposal, the Bible does not explicitly prohibit or endorse cremation. There are instances of bodies being burned, such as the bodies of Saul and his sons being burned after they were defeated in battle, 1 Samuel 31:12. Another example is in 2 Kings 23:6 and 23:20, where Josiah burned bones on altars as a symbolic act of purification. However, these instances are not direct endorsements or rejections of cremation as a funeral practice. Theological implications. The Bible does emphasize the respect and honor due to the body as the temple of the Holy Spirit, 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. This respect extends to how the body is treated after death. However, since the Bible does not explicitly mention cremation, Christians have room for interpretation based on general principles. The belief that the body will be resurrected is central to Christianity, and some argue that cremation, like traditional burial, returns the body to dust in accordance with Genesis 3:19. Historical and modern perspectives. Historically, some Christian denominations restricted cremation due to concerns that it might impede the resurrection. Over time, many denominations, including the Catholic Church, have revised their positions, recognizing that God is capable of resurrecting a body regardless of its condition. The Catholic Church, for example, officially permitted cremation in 1963, provided it is done with respect and does not deny the doctrine of the resurrection. Resurrection and the glorified body. Impact of cremation on resurrection. One of the most frequently asked questions is how cremation affects the resurrection and glorification of the body. 1 Corinthians 15:42-44 states that our earthly bodies, when sown, are perishable and dishonorable, but will be raised imperishable and glorious. This passage emphasizes that the resurrection transcends the physical condition of the body.